Hey everyone, it's me Peter, broadcasting to you remotely from the beautiful Atlantic Ocean. Just kidding, it's a blue screen and I'm still in my f***ing basement. Anyways, in this tutorial we're going to be discussing the amazing free program OBS. OBS stands for Open Broadcast Software and is an open source screen recorder for any operating system. OBS is very similar to in-studio switching programs and is ideal for live streamers, show producers, and many others. If you plan on doing recordings live from home, I'd strongly recommend looking into OBS. You can record files to your computer or directly stream to online video platforms like YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, Plimeo, Klubi Plus, Baby Terrarium, Mima's Apple Stream, Peepaw's Plimple Pleem, Chunky27, Return to the Live Streaming Nightmare. I made most of those up, but there's a lot of them. Anyways, OBS is free, powerful, and pretty awesome, so let's check it out. obsproject.com. This is where you can download the software, so it's pretty simple. All you have to do is choose your operating system. So I have Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. I never know how to pronounce that. But I have Mac and I already downloaded it, but all you have to do if you haven't is click on the operating system and it'll guide you through the download, okay? So great. So now let's open up the program. I dragged it to my desktop for the sake of convenience. You will likely, as a new user, be walked through how to set it up. I'll go over my settings that I use later in the video, but you can just go through it quickly and get through the screen. It's pretty easy and user intuitive. So let's take a look at what we have here. At the top, we have our canvas. This is where we'll be setting up our various layouts, which are called scenes in this program. So yeah, you'll be able to build out all your scenes right here. So let's go through some of the panels. So at the bottom left, we have scenes right here and sources. So what scenes are is they're each setup that you have for your show. Sources are all of the layers that you put into your show. So let's get right into this before it gets too confusing. So I'm going to start with scene 1, and I'm going to add a source. So let's add an image. So you can title it whatever you want. So I will press OK, and now I'm going to look for the image, and I know that I have a logo for CCTV that I want to use. So great. So now we have right here, we have the source, which says CCTV on it, that image file, and you can see it on the canvas right now, and you can move it around, you can resize it, I can put it in the corner, it's a little bug or something, and yeah, so that's how you add a source. So you click on the add button, this little plus thing, and just for the sake of it, let's add a video capture device. So I'll add my webcam. Great. I'll just let it be called that, and then it will look for the device. So I'll put it, hey, there I am in my messy apartment. You can choose your preset. So mine is 1280 by 720, which is the resolution. And I'm going to press OK. And cool. All right. So I'm going to actually drag this through the full screen. Very cool. So that's me. I'm going to try to sit up a little straighter. Yeah. So as you can see, the CCTV disappeared. So the reason that is because it is below the video capture device layer. So right there, if I were to press this up arrow, it'll appear. Right. Wow, I'm very bad at moving backwards effectively. But so right here, that is the CCTV logo, which we can now see because it is on top of the video capture device. So that's how the layers work. Whatever is on the top is most visible. If I were to move the video capture device once more back above the CCTV layer, you can't see it again because this is what's on top. But I can also resize it so it's not in the way. It was just hiding below. So I'm just going to get rid of my face. And an easy way to do that without deleting the layer is you can press this little eye here. All right. So clicking that will make it appear and disappear, but you can also delete it. So I'm going to click on this little minus. Don't worry, my face will likely be back later, but let's try it out. So minus will remove. Are you sure you wish to remove video capture device? Yes, I am. Bye-bye. Okay, great. So we have that. Let's add some text. So there's a lot of other things you can do. You can add various audio input, captures. You can put your browser on here, which is very cool. You can add a color source, which is just one solid color to give it a bit of a background. Yeah, there's all sorts of things. Let's just add some text quickly. So I'm just gonna, hi, CCTV. It's not very creative, but that's all good. One thing that I do want to say is you want to make sure this make source visible box is checked, just to make sure that it's visible. And let's just do hi CCTV. Once again, not my greatest writing that I've ever done, but gets the point across, which is hi CCTV. So you can adjust it like that. You can go to the select font, and it's not my favorite font selector out there, but it works pretty well. You know, it'll get the job done. You just have to work with it a little bit. So all right. What a beautiful little, this is a terrible scene, but you get the idea. So let's talk about multiple scenes. So we have scene 1 set up. We have this kind of ugly thing going on. I'm clearly very proud of my work. I'm going to add a second scene. So we'll call it scene 2. And this one we will add some sources again. So you can see scene 1. We've got everything set up. Scene 2, there's nothing here. So let's add a source. So let's do browser. Let's try it out. So we'll do browser, and you've just added a browser source. So I can select the URL. So I'm going to add the cctvcambridge.org, the website. All right. And now, very cool. You can just have the website set up there. And I can adjust it so that we have this going on. And you know, just for the sake of making things complicated and showing you what this program can do, I'm going to put my video capture device back on, put my face on top, all right? So I'm going to click get my built-in camera. Oh, beautiful. Great. And now I'm just going to plop little me over here. So we have this whole thing going on. So we've got these two. And for the sake, just to be a little complicated, you don't have to go crazy. I just want you to see what it can do. I'm going to add a color source to sort of separate me a little bit from the website. And I'm just going to add a black layer. So I'm going to select just black, and it's just going to be a background for me. So I'm going to move the layer below, and now I'm going to shrink it so that it makes a little border around my video. And if you don't love the way that looks, you can change the layer by clicking on the source, and then you can click on the gear. And I'm going to change it to, let's see what, purple or white. Let's see how white is. Great. Okay. And yeah, don't love that either. So I'm going to do it one more time. I'm going to change it to purple. I am a purple guy. I like that. So cool. I'm going to resize it just a little bit, make the borders a little more defined. But yeah, so that's what you can do. So now we have these two scenes. And what's very cool is between these two scenes, we can switch, similar to any live studio switcher. So I'm going to press scene 1, and it fades right back and forth to scene 2. And you can control how that works. So back to scene 1. My face is tough for me, but anyways, let's go over to scene transitions, this little window here. So we've talked about sources, which are the layers within a scene, and scenes, which is the setup of your different sources. And so if you want to transition between two scenes, there's this scene transition thing right here. So you have two options initially. You can do a hard cut. So if I were to click on one or the other, it immediately switches between the two. If you want to do a fade, you click on fade, and you guessed it, it will fade between them. And you can even set the duration. I'm a big fan of a nice slow fade. So let's pump this thing up. So magical little slow fade melting right into the other scene. Very cool. All right. And okay, so we've talked about scenes, sources, we've talked about scene transitions, and then we've got audio mixer here. So you'll probably notice that as I'm talking, the audio levels are changing. Great. So you can actually affect multiple sources. So you could have several mics coming through here, and you can change the levels on the sound. So if I were to move this down, you'll see that it's much lower. The decibel is -50 now that it's about peaking. And if I were to move it up, you'll see that it's sometimes peaking in the red, which is not exactly what you want. Ideally, you want things to peak in this yellow, specifically dialogue. And then if you wanted to add background music or something like that, you could add an additional audio source and make sure that that is much lower than your speaker. So this is pretty cool. You can just mix it live. And this program knows that live mixing is very important. Okay, great. I'm gonna maybe get rid of the browser for now. So once again, I clicked on the little eyeball to, wow, you can see the light on my face, but I clicked on the eyeball to get rid of one of the source layers. So just to make it so it's not visible, but my face looks better when this bright stuff is on. Anyways, okay, so let's check out the last part, which is the controls. So we have start streaming, and that will start your live stream. And you'll be able to connect that in the settings. So if you wanted to connect it to your YouTube or to Twitch or Facebook Live, you could do it through the settings, but this will kick off the stream and get you going. We start recording, where if you just wanted to record internally on your computer, you could do that. So you could create kind of a live to tape recording and then upload it, which is a safe thing to do, especially if you're starting out. But if you want that adrenaline rush of the live streaming experience, start streaming will work. And you can also have it record at the same time. So that's pretty cool. Another part is studio mode. So if I click on studio mode, this is very cool. If you're used to a in-studio switcher, you'll recognize this. So we have what's called the program window. So the program window shows what's actually being shown, and then the preview window is what's next. So we've got in program, we've got scene 1, and then preview and scene 2, and then you can click on the transition, and you can change between the two. So now people are seeing this scene 2, and I'll transition back to the other one, and now they're seeing scene 1. So that is just an easy way to visualize. So what is outputting is only the program. What you can see as the person in charge is the program, and then you can see the preview as well about what's coming up next. So if you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 scenes, you can select which one you want. So I'm just going to quickly make scene 3, and we'll add, let's add, what do I want to do? I want to add an image, and I'll just look for a quick image in my computer. There's got to be something, right? Desktop cleanup. What does that look like? This could be really embarrassing. All right, cool. That's actually my desk at work. So I'm just going to throw that image on there, and then I'm going to use it to fill the screen. For the preview window, you can choose the scene you prefer, and you can transition to it. So my preview will have any of these scenes that I can transition into the program. It's kind of a safe way to do your switching. But I'm going to turn off studio mode. It works very well to just click on these scenes directly. So whatever you're comfortable with. And great. So that's most of it. So I'm just going to end this session with talking a little bit about settings. So let's go right into that. So the general is pretty good. You can get as advanced as you want with this. We're just going to go over some basic stuff. So first thing that's important is the streaming tab. So you can choose what service you want. So it's got a lot of the basic ones, Twitch, YouTube. So you can connect it to your YouTube account. There's a few ways you can do that. Each one has kind of its own thing. The YouTube can provide a stream key. You can do it on Facebook Live. And then there's a ton of other ones here. So you can check these out. Vimeo. All of these things. Yeah, it's very cool. So this is where you would connect where you wanted it to stream. And now we have output. So output mode, I'm going to keep it in simple. You can go advanced, which will give you a lot more control. If you're an advanced user and you know about a lot of this stuff, go for it. But simple will work great. So you can keep a lot of this stuff the same. One thing that is worth checking is your internet speed. So you could run a speed test through your internet provider and find out what it is. And then you want to make sure that the video bit rate is about a quarter lower than what your max bit rate is. So that way it's very comfortably streaming as opposed to stopping all the time and sputtering. That'll be kind of frustrating. So yeah, so you can just leave all this stuff put, but if you want to do extra work and make sure that everything's good, I would check your internet speed and then make sure that the video bit rate fits well into that. All right, so recording paths. So as you're live streaming or recording straight to your computer, you want to, it will create a video file. So let's figure out where we want to put it. So I guess movies will be great. Okay, great. So that is where the video file will land. Okay, and then you can choose your recording quality. Same as streams, pretty good. If you want something higher, you could do high quality or indistinguishable quality. The size of the files gets bigger depending on what you choose. I would definitely recommend not using lossless quality. That's really, really large. So watch what happens when I click it. It gives you tremendous large file sizes. Tremendously large file sizes. That's ominous. So yeah, I don't want to use that. But suit yourself. I just would warn against it. So yeah, if you want something that looks really good, really close to what the live stream looks like, indistinguishable quality would be great. Same as stream will be also great. Recording format, they have tons of different recording formats. MP4 is pretty popular. MKV is fine. It just really depends on your workflow. Great. Okay, audio. All this stuff is pretty good. My desktop audio is disabled because this is a work computer and I didn't call our tech guy, Rob, just because I'm lazy. He's great. This is on me. But yeah, so if you have that enabled, you can hear what's coming off of the desktop. So if you're trying to watch a YouTube video or play something with sound or click around, that will be heard and it'll be shown as a audio bar in the mixer that you can adjust, which is cool. So you can choose that. And then for your external mic or whatever, you can choose either the default, which I don't do. I just want to make sure that it's always on the USB mic, which I have, which is the blue snowball. So I have that clicked. If you just have a built-in microphone, you can also click that there. And then if you have multiple mics, you can adjust them here, and multiple desktop audio sources, you can also do that here. So that's great. Video, this one's important. So the canvas size, that's what we were working with, this top panel. Right here is the canvas size. So if you wanted that to be 1920 by 1080, which is HD, definitely do that. It depends on your internet speed and what your comfort is. 1280 by 720 is also pretty great. That works very well for the internet. And then the output will usually be lower than what your base resolution is because it's easier on the internet to output something at a lower rate. So I have my base resolution set to 1920 by 1080, and then the output resolution 1280 by 720. So that's great. Common frames per second values. So I put it on 30 frames per second because that's kind of TV standard. That's what CCTV does. But if you're a gamer and you want to go fast, you can use 60 frames per second. But if not, I would just leave it at 30 unless you have a specific reason. Here you can create hotkeys to make shortcuts for a lot of things. You can have start streaming and stop streaming activated by the touch of a button of your choice. So that's pretty cool. I don't really use it because I find the interface really simple. So I don't feel the need to do that. And then this already exhausts me. So there's more you can do in advance. But that is your choice. So great. So yeah, I'm just going to make my face big because I'm a narcissist. And I'm going to say that is OBS. Really cool program. And that is my laundry. Pretty embarrassing. All right, so that is OBS. As always, if you have any questions or ideas for future tutorials, please send me an email at peter@cctvcambridge.org. And now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go back to pretending like I'm on the ocean. Thanks, technology.